back to your English class. Today we're going to start a new chapter. It's a story written by Beatrice Potter. Beatrice Potter was an English writer. She wrote stories for children, and most of her stories had animals as characters in them. And our today's story is The Tale of Peter Rabbit. And as you guessed, the animals are rabbits. Shall we meet the characters first? There is a mother rabbit and there are 4 baby rabbits, bunnies, Mopsy, Flopsy, Cottontail and Peter Rabbit. Now Peter is a naughty rabbit. The other 3 are very obedient. They listen to their mother. What happens when a child is naughty? He ends up in trouble. Peter also gets into trouble. Shall we find out what trouble? Children, let's read The Tale of Peter Rabbit by Beatrice Potter.
The Tale of Peter Rabbit by Beatrix Potter. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, and their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. They lived with their mother underneath the root of a very big fir tree. "Now, my dears," said old Mrs. Rabbit one morning, "you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there. Now run along and don't get into mischief. I am going out." Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down to the lane.
So children, in our story, the 4 bunny rabbits and the mother rabbit, they live underneath the root of a big fir tree. What is the meaning of underneath? It means below. And this is a fir tree. Now one morning, the mother rabbit told the bunny rabbits, "You all can go out and play. You can go to the fields or to the lane." Lane means the street. "But don't go to McGregor's garden. This is McGregor. He's a man, he's a farmer, and in his garden he has many fruits and vegetables. So the bunnies might want to go to the garden to eat them." So the mother rabbit told the bunnies, "You are not supposed to go to McGregor's garden because your father had an accident there. So don't go there." Now all the 3 bunnies obeyed her. But Peter, he had other plans. What did he do? Let's find out.
But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate. First, he ate some lettuces and some French beans, and then he ate some radishes. And then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. Whom should he meet but Mr. McGregor? Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting out young cabbages, but he jumped up and ran after Peter and calling out, "Stop, thief!"
Now what did Peter Rabbit do? He went to McGregor's garden. He squeezed in through the gate and he started eating 3 vegetables. Which are they? Lettuces, French beans and radishes. Now after he ate all these 3, his stomach started feeling weird. He started feeling sick. So he tried to eat parsley. Parsley is a leaf that acts like a medicine. So he went in search of parsley. But whom did he find? McGregor. McGregor spotted Peter Rabbit and he started chasing him, calling him a thief.
Peter was frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages and the other shoe amongst the potatoes. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went fast. Unfortunately, run into a gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket.
So when McGregor started chasing Peter, he started running all over the place, but he couldn't find the gate. He couldn't find the way back to the gate. So he was panicking and he was running around everywhere. And in the process, what happened? He lost one shoe among the cabbages. He lost another shoe among the potatoes. And finally, when he was running on all fours and he was picking up speed, what happened? He ran into a gooseberry net. Gooseberry is a kind of a fruit. He ran into that net and he got caught because his brass buttons of his new jacket, they got caught in the net. So he couldn't free himself. He was struggling, but he couldn't free himself.
And shed big tears, but his sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows, who flew to him in great excitement.
Peter started crying. He felt so scared and frightened. He started crying. But who came? Sparrows. Some sparrows came and they started cheering him up.
McGregor came up with a sieve, which he intended to pop upon the top of Peter. But Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him, and rushed into the tool shed and jumped into a can. Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed. Peter sneezed. Kerchoo! Mr. McGregor was after him in no time on Peter, who jumped out of a window. The window was too small for Mr. McGregor, and he was tired of running after Peter. He went back to his work.
Suddenly, McGregor came with a sieve. Children, this is a sieve. He came with a sieve and tried to catch Peter Rabbit. So what did Peter Rabbit do? He wriggled out. What is wriggled? He squeezed himself out by twisting and turning. And he left the jacket behind and ran away. So he lost his shoes, he lost his jacket also. And McGregor was sure that Peter was somewhere around. He knew Peter had not escaped, so he started searching for Peter. And Peter, what did he do? He got into the tool shed and jumped into a water can. And there he sneezed. So when he sneezed, McGregor heard him and he started running towards him. Now Peter Rabbit, what did he do? He jumped out of the tool shed through a small window. And McGregor was too big for the window, so he couldn't jump out through the window. So for now, he thought, okay, I'll get back to work and I'll catch him later. So children, we know that Peter Rabbit has forgotten the way to the gate. So how will he go back home? Will McGregor catch him? We'll find out in the next class. Thank you.